Breaking news to bring you out of Washington this hour. It appears there is movement in the trade negotiations between Canada and the U.S. The CBC's Katie Simpson joins us now live from D.C. Katie, what have you heard?
And it appears there is some progress, but I'm going to give a big caution as we get to a point here, though. Those talks between Canada and the U.S., they have now gotten to a point that a document outlining a potential agreement has been shared back and forth by officials in Ottawa and Washington. That is according to three sources with direct knowledge of the information who've spoken with either me or with my colleagues at Radio-Canada. Now, sources are making it extremely clear a deal is not imminent and there's more work that needs to be done, and that they're not expecting an agreement before the G7 summit next week. But we have learned a little bit about what's in this document. According to one source, it includes a commitment from Canada to participate in the Golden Dome missile defense strategy. That is a controversial proposal from U.S. President Donald Trump that could end up costing hundreds of billions of dollars and take years to develop. It also highlights Canada's recent commitment to it meeting its NATO defense spending targets, Canada's plan to make further security investments in the Arctic, and the previously announced measures to highlight border security. Now, Canada is pushing for tariff relief from the Americans, but what the Trump administration is willing to commit to at this point, that remains unclear. There are a wide range of tariffs imposed on Canadian goods, though there are also carve-outs and some exceptions in some cases. The biggest challenge right now is those higher tariffs just imposed on steel and aluminum. Most U.S. trading partners are now facing a 50% tariff, and that is not something that Trump appears to be backing away from anytime soon. Now, Canadian and U.S. officials have been in contact weekly ever since Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit to the White House. I'm told the talks are slowly making progress. One source said to me, this week was better than the week before. But again, the source is emphasizing these are not traditional trade talks. This is about reaching a broad agreement related to trade and security rather than detailed, technical, specific trade negotiations.
And so, Katie, where do things now go from here? A lot of detail there.
Yeah, so the big thing is to watch is the G7 summit coming up next week in Alberta. Everyone who's there is going to want a piece of the Americans because everyone's dealing with this sort of nightmare scenario where they're trying to either get out of trade or get out of tariffs, find some way to reach an agreement with the United States so that trade can continue and economic relationships can continue as they have in the past. The Americans have made it very clear they want to reset the trade agenda. They want terms that are favorable to American workers and American businesses. And this is something that Donald Trump campaigned on and is working very hard to try to implement. So the big thing is, will Canadians be able to sort of keep these talks moving in a right direction? Will they be able to make some progress on this? And the big thing to look for next, obviously, is going to be getting something in paper. There can be agreements. People can say, a deal has been reached. But again, it all comes down to what are people going to actually get on paper from the Trump administration, because that's when you know the specifics and what has been confirmed and committed to.
Katie, thank you for all these breaking details. That is the CBC's Katie Simpson reporting for us from Washington.